Thor is the latest blockbuster film from Marvel Studios. But does the Norse god of thunder make for a worthy superhero, or does it drop the hammer on itself? Find out right now on Movieology. Welcome to Movieology, your ticket to engaging the spectacular world of film from the bedrock of biblical truth. I'm your host, Stewart Adams. Be sure to check out Movieology on our website, mythologyTV, our YouTube, our Facebook page, and our Twitter. Email us at info@movieology.tv, and be sure to sign up for Movieology's newsletter by going to our website subscriptions page. Don't forget to enter for a chance to win a $30 American Vision gift certificate by naming all the movie-related images in our opening title sequence and emailing them in the correct order before June 1st. Based on the comic book, Thor spans the Marvel Universe from present-day Earth to the mystical realm of Asgard. At the center of the story is the mighty Thor, a powerful but arrogant warrior whose reckless actions break a truce and reignite an ancient war with a race known as the Frost Giants. Thor is banished to Earth as punishment by his father Odin and is forced to live among humans as a mortal. Once here, he must learn what it takes to be a true hero when the most dangerous villain of his world sends the darkest forces of Asgard to invade Earth and endanger the innocent people that Thor has come to love. Thor was directed by Kenneth Branagh and stars Chris Hemsworth, Natalie Portman, and Anthony Hopkins. As a fan of the Marvel Universe growing up, I always considered Thor to be one of my least favorite superhero characters. In my mind, the idea of Norse mythology and comic book superheroes didn't really mix well. And the spiritual ramifications of introducing ancient gods into what clearly should remain primarily a science fiction-oriented genre just felt strange to me. While Spider-Man, Captain America, and Iron Man, and the rest of the Marvel characters received their abilities by some science-related device, Thor was an immortal being from another realm whose power was endowed by a magical hammer. So, to say the least, I was a little apprehensive about the movie adaptation, as I think it could have gone the way of ridiculous quite easily. At the same time, Thor's storyline makes him unique not only to the Marvel Universe, but also to comic book characters in general. So I was hoping the movie would be able to pull off a good balance, and for the most part, it doesn't disappoint. The acting is great across the board, with Chris Hemsworth being perfectly cast to play Thor. The action sequences are fantastic, and the film uses humor throughout, which helps bring the story down to earth and provides a human aspect to one of the more larger-than-life characters. The numerous nods to the Avengers, including an uncredited appearance by Jeremy Renner as Hawkeye, should make the hardcore fans happy, though purists will have a problem with the race bending. If you're not familiar with the term, race bending is when an actor of one particular race is cast to portray a character whose race in the source material is different than that of the actor. Branagh has been known to do this in his films, to the point of breaking continuity. In his adaptation of Shakespeare's Much Ado About Nothing, Denzel Washington plays the brother of Keanu Reeves' character. This artistic choice does make a subtle political statement, but in Thor it didn't really bother me that Heimdall was played by a black man and Hogun was played by an Asian man. They were good actors, and I didn't feel like the characters suffered, despite how much the source material might suggest that all Asgardians should be of a Norwegian Viking-like race. The religious undertones in Thor are obviously rooted in Norse paganism and mythology, but the film makes a considerable effort to downplay any overt reference to religion and instead opts to emphasize the superhero aspects of the characters. Thor explains in the movie that the ancestors of modern humans thought the Asgardians were gods and believed their abilities to be magic. But to the people of Asgard, these abilities, which include immortality, are simply a form of science in their home realm, without any kind of spiritual origin or significance. I think this was a crucial decision in the success of the film, as it keeps the movie from falling into the tricky situation of trying to defend mythology as a legitimate religion.
I think you want to see this.
Shall possess the power of Thor.
In fact, Thor actually has many themes allegorical to the story of Christ. Thor is sent to Earth by his father, becomes a mortal man, sacrifices himself for the humans, dies, is resurrected, and then after conquering death and defeating the Destroyer, he ascends to be reunited with his father. In addition to the allegory, Thor also contains a strong message of the consequences of arrogance, the necessity of humility, and the nobility of self-sacrifice. On top of all that, it is nice to see a film that places importance on sons honoring their father and fathers being worthy of that honor. Now let's take a moment to thank our sponsor. American Vision is dedicated to restoring America's biblical foundation. They have invaluable resources for history, apologetics, eschatology, and worldview studies. No biblical enthusiast should go without tapping into their wealth of accessible scholarly work. As a Movieology fan, you are treated to 10% off all purchases at AmericanVision.com when you use the coupon code Hollywood at checkout. American Vision is the ministry that will help you understand the world you live in, so check them out at AmericanVision.com. To put it quite simply, I really enjoyed Thor. However, it is not a perfect film by any stretch of the imagination. The three main human characters were rather empty, with one of them being entirely unnecessary. The love story between Thor and Portman's character Jane was not given enough time to develop, since the whole movie takes place over about 2 or 3 days. The result is Jane coming off as a very superficial woman that the audience doesn't really care about, which makes one wonder why Thor would care about her either. Unfortunately, this weakens the conclusion to an otherwise enjoyable, uplifting, and well-made film. I give Thor 3.5 stars for being a well-made adaptation of the source material that also makes appropriate alterations when necessary and conveys a positive moral message. If you have questions or comments regarding this film, please email us at info@movieology.tv, or you can message us on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter. Until next time, I'm Stewart Adams. Thanks for watching. Enjoyed Thor. However, it is not a perfect film by any stretch of the imagination. Let's do that again. Email us at info@movieology.tv. TB, why did I say TB? Like TB is in tuberculosis. A considerable effort. That's like effort, but by elves. Conveys a positive moral message. Bleh. Good thing I haven't had any good takes, huh? That's what we should do, is develop a new superhero character that's all about jazz. And he shoots jazz notes of death at his enemies through a trombone.